welcome to the Dancing Bear Enlightenment Academy podcast, Holistic Transformation. Today we have a wonderful guest speaker, Karyn. She is an eating coach, a multi-award-winning author, freedom from secret eating coach, and empowerment expert. She specializes in loss and trauma. She releases women's secret fears, stopping them from financial and physical success, even if they are feeling overwhelmed or burnt out. Today, her talk will be how to prevent childhood loss impacting your adult life. Welcome, Karyn.
Thank you so much, Dr. Beverly. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you. So I always ask everybody, what's your transformational story? How did you get started and why is this your passion?
Right, how did I get started? So basically, I had a lot of loss in my childhood. At the age of 10, my father died of cancer. And, you know, at 10 years old, you don't really know what's going on. I didn't even go to his funeral. So I sort of kind of never really got to say goodbye. And then my mother remarried a lovely man and then at the age of 15, he died in his sleep. So, yeah, so we had like very upsetting sort of growing up. And then, of course, mum was dealing with her own grieving, and she sold the house that we'd been living in with both fathers, and she moved up to the country. So at the age of 15, I had a lot of freedom and thought it was very good. I thought it was amazing. Like, I can do whatever I want. I can go out drinking, I can smoke, I can party, all these things. I grew up very fast. And part of me, the little girl inside of me was actually saying, what's wrong with me? Why is everybody leaving me? And I had a lot of things going on in my life where things just never worked out for me because I was grieving inside, but didn't understand all that to sort of realize that. And, I started working. I eventually did a degree in accounting. So I thought, okay, I used to think I was stupid because I left school so young. I left school in year 10. And then basically I realized I wasn't dumb. I was actually quite intelligent after doing my accounting and CPA and everything. But after doing 10 years of study, I started thinking, what am I going to do now? Because I was studying while working full time. So I had all this time on my hands. It was then that I started looking down a few sort of woo-woo things. I did like tarot reading cards, and I did meditation and Reiki. Then I went down kinesiology, NLP, hypnosis, timeline therapy. And I just discovered this whole new world basically through that process. Yeah. And I also hired my own coach to actually help me through some things. So there were some very big aha moments in my 40s, basically. But until then, I was living with this hole of grief and not really knowing why I reacted to things, why I overreacted to things, because that little girl inside was trying to protect me and, sort of keep me safe. I'm a big, I love real girly movies and, feel good movies. I recently watched a movie on Netflix and it talked about that we have these ghosts of past, ghosts of childhood trauma, ghosts of unfulfilled dreams. And we believe that if we ignore them, that they'll just go away. But that's something I know is a big, big mistake. If we try to ignore them, they don't go away. Yeah,
it gets worse.
We have to deal them. We don't have to relive our traumas, but we need to have a look at what are those beliefs that we've formed because of those traumas, so that we can actually move forward and live the life we dream about. Because I was a big dreamer. Like I used to dream about, when I'd go for a walk, my mind would just be in dream world. And while you're living with trauma and not dealing with it, you'll never achieve those dreams because you'll always sabotage yourself.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing, the biggest aha moments from doing all that work and working with a coach and having someone help me through the process is why I do what I do, because I know how transformational it would be for someone to actually do that. And as I said, there's a lot of things you can do where you have to talk about the trauma, but talking about it just relights it up in your mind. You need to get the learnings from within so you can actually let it go.
And my observation is you always need help with that, because we just don't see ourselves objectively, and someone else will look at it and say blah blah blah, and boom, that transformation is instant. Although sometimes you're not open to hearing what the other person has to say. You have to be ready to hear that. But definitely you can. The answers are all inside within ourselves. It doesn't come from outside of ourselves. We go looking. That's one of the things we do when we've been in trauma. We go looking for outside sources to fix us. Everything has to come from within. We have to listen to our own heart, but you do need someone to help find those things for you. Like even just someone listening to your language of the words that you say about yourself, or beliefs that you say that you're not even hearing because you're too close to it. That's where the outside helps. But when you actually come up with the answers, they come from within. And when you get those answers from within and you're ready to listen, that's when you can transform and change how you see things, how you react to things, and change everything about yourself to be that person that you've always dreamt you would be. Yeah, we have paradigms that block us from seeing things, and and if someone can break the paradigm a little bit, then all of a sudden you get it.
Correct. And it's funny how when you do get that aha moment, it's just like, I've known this all along. Why have I not done anything about it before? Why now?
That's
But
the funny part.
You've got to be there. You've got to be ready, and a lot of it is about fear. A lot of it is about being it's protecting yourself. You're trying to protect yourself. You've learned from a very young child, this is the way you protect yourself. So one of my ways of protecting myself was to binge eat. So that was whenever I was triggered, I would then go and squash down those feelings with food. People have different ways. There can be food. It can be, some people have exercise. Some people could smoke. I did smoking and drinking and food. I mean, come on. I just never did the drugs.
Gambling and overspending. Yeah,
Correct.
There's lots of things people do.
Yeah, and it may not even be an addiction that would be thought of as a bad addiction. It could be, over exercising, people, exercising or constantly sort of studying. But a lot of people who get stuck, the way they react to people, and they might get angry with their kids. They might be stuck in a mentality of even that everyone's out to get them, and all these things actually harm us. That's the sad part when you see someone who's there, but they've got to be ready to actually transform and make the changes. If they are stuck in blame mode, they may not be ready yet. They need to be in a few more sort of years, maybe sort of listening to themselves and listening to people and hear something that lights it up in their brain that goes, oh yes, that's what I'm doing. So everyone has their journey, and their journey will come full circle for them when they actually are ready for it.
Yeah, that's why meditation helps, because you can sit there and listen to your thoughts. And you go, I really thought that. Wow, I don't think I want to think that anymore.
Yeah.
That's when you really find out who you are.
Yeah. But when you're that much stuck in your head, sometimes it's hard to meditate. You can't quieten down those thoughts enough to be able to, and that's why a lot of people say, no, I can't meditate, because they just can't do it on their own. They can't get their head to quieten down. And a lot of that stuff that goes on for it is that head chatter. And women especially, we are multitaskers. We have a bigger limbic system, and we actually attach emotions to every event. So if we're triggered, that emotion is going to come up. So we need to find a way to actually let go of that, and actually let go of that emotion, so we can actually see what's happened for what it is without actually having that emotion. And then once we're emotional, we don't feel safe, and safety is a big thing for us to actually get through. So it's a big circle. So that's where, as I said, having someone else help you through that process is a lot easier than trying to do it on your own. Some people do, but most people usually reach out to someone at some point.
So every coach that I talk to has their process or techniques or tools that they use when they help people. So what do you do to help women transform?
So one of the biggest things, as I said, is listening to their language, listening to what they're saying to themselves. What are the beliefs that are coming up that they're talking about? Because some of those beliefs aren't even theirs. They could be passed down through the genes through epigenetics. They could be beliefs that they've just been come on by listening to their parents. So they come from all different places. But those beliefs, if they're negative and prevent them from where they want to go, that's what you need to identify first, is identify those beliefs, identify their values in life. You know, when you understand your value, like my value is enjoy life. So if I've got a belief that goes against that, I'm always going to procrastinate against that belief. So you have to align those as well. So that's one of the things I do. But the biggest thing is listening to the language, identifying their beliefs. And then the process is I walk them through a process with their eyes closed. It's not hypnosis, but it is a process that allows them to actually see the truth and get the learnings that they need to let it go. So I'll do like a full breakthrough with someone in about a month, and actually does all areas of their life through that process. And I love seeing at the biggest, each session is 2 hours when I do it with them. But I see at the beginning of the session and they're rating something so high that it's, you know, it's a big thing in their life, and you can see it on their faces, to the end of the 2 hours, and they're just brighter and lighter, and they just go, what that, I never had that problem. No, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Yes, you did. So yeah, I love working with women through that process to actually see them transform who they were at the beginning. And as I said, most people I can transform from all areas of their life in, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I did one lady in 2 weeks. So yeah, love it. And I have lots of other tools in my, having studied for so many years, I can do obviously different things. That's my favorite process. But then I do money blocks for people, and so I do, looking at the values and their beliefs and transforming those. But then I also, being an accountant, I then look at the practical side for them.
Oh, okay.
And give them cash flow budgeting advice and a spreadsheet, how they can do things. Because unless you know what your numbers are, you can't take action. You have blocks, you can get rid of those blocks, but then where do you go? You need to take the practical steps as well too.
Yeah, I've always had a budget. I think that's really important.
Yes, it is. And a lot of people miss out on that step, like, with a lot of money mindset stuff. And a lot of those beliefs that we have in money mindset is not just, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work hard for your money. It's also things like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. Those things are big things for money blocks as well. So I doubt, like, I do lots of different processes for
what
different.
If I said money does grow on trees?
Well, you know what? I actually, when I read that about money doesn't grow on trees, I used to always think, well, money does grow on trees. Paper grows on trees. I Googled it. Actually isn't made out of paper that grows on trees.
Cloth. Yeah, U.S. money anyway is made out of cloth. It's cotton mostly. Yeah.
But, you can have, like, I have a belief that money is, it's just energy. Money's just energy. But a lot of people obviously have been brought up with, you have to work hard for your money. Money doesn't grow on trees. All those beliefs. And if you believe them, then it actually disconnects with you. Yeah. And, if you have to work hard for your money, but your number one value in life is have a good time or freedom, that belief that you have to work hard for your money contradicts what you think. So you're always going to block money coming through to you. So
yeah. That's so true. Now, you were talking about binge eating earlier. Didn't you write a book on binge eating?
I did. I co-authored with another hypnotherapist and coach. We wrote it and we've won 10 awards. I've got a copy of it here.
Holy cow.
Eating Secrets. So we won the New York Big Book Awards, and quite a few awards. It is a book on, not about dieting, because if you're a binge eater, dieting is our worst enemy. It's the thing that actually makes us want to go and binge, because if, remember, as a child, you were told you couldn't have something. Well, guess what? Told you can't have it. That's all you want.
That's all you want.
And I was a constant dieter. Like, I believed, from a very young, I even think, even in my 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, I was having like the Scarsdale diet and all these different weird diets, 2 days cheese, 2 days chicken, 2 days.
Yeah.
So crazy, crazy, crazy. So diets are not the way. It is actually about the traumas. It's about the mood you're in, and the reason why you've actually chosen food as your way to deal with what's going on. So through the book, we have lots of exercises to actually help you identify some of those things. We have lots of exercises in there to help you have pattern interrupts through the process, to understand why, you do these things, and that you're not alone. That both mine and Megan's stories in there talking about how we actually discovered we actually had a binge eating problem. We're slightly different stories, the way we sort of dealt with things. Like Megan was probably more of a starve herself and over exercise, whereas I would go through bits of dieting as well as, binge eating. But it is very much about your why, not about food. And when you get that and realize that it's not the food, that yes, the food calls you from the fridge, but that's because you've actually attached the emotion to that food, whether it be from a social aspect because it was what your mum always cooked you, or what your mum always gave you when you were upset, down to the point where we've then just created patterns of these things where we turn to food, and you'll get triggered by life events. And having been a binge eater, I can still have times where I can get triggered and have to stop myself in the moment. Getting cancer was a big thing for me because I allowed myself to eat chocolate through the process of my cancer, but I had to then stop myself from allowing it to grow into something more. So you've got to be aware of what's going on and the triggers that go on for you. And because you'll always get a new ceiling that will come in, and you think you've beaten something and something can come in and actually just knock your socks off a bit. But then you've got to put on your big girl pants and actually do something about it again.
What I did was, I had a problem like that. And I discovered that when you diet, your body has a set point and you're going to gain the weight back and then some. And it's called yo-yo dieting. And you eventually become leptin deficient. You have all kinds of issues that you cannot fight it with willpower. It's impossible. And you have to deal with it, usually with a naturopathic doctor or something like that, which is what I had to do. And I think every American, I don't know about Australia, but at least in America, we're all addicted to sugar because there's sugar in everything. And I've had to learn to make everything from scratch, but I still like my sweets. So I actually learned how to make truffles without any sugar. I use 100% free harvest cocoa and organic milk from free range, not milk, but whipping cream from free range cows with no antibiotics. And then I'll use things like erythritol with monk fruit or something. So, and I'll say, okay, every evening I can have this truffle. So now I have my sweet, there's no sugar in it. And it keeps me regular. With chocolate. So, you have to find ways to satisfy that part of you that wants that comfort, but isn't harmful to you, to your body, but it's actually healthy and doing something good.
I do the same thing with the cacao, and I use stevia as a little bit of like sweetener to things because it's a natural sweetener and it doesn't raise your insulin levels as such.
Right.
But did you know that humans are designed to binge? Because in seasons, fruit is only grown a certain time of the year. So in the days, in the caveman days, they'd come across a fruit tree and they would binge on it. And they would binge on it mindlessly because they're actually looking out for tigers and elephants and whatever's going to kill them, dinosaurs. And then then once the fruit's empty, once the tree's empty, that's it. They think so. They store the sugar. So our bodies are designed to binge on sugar, on sweet stuff.
Well, it's more than that. Each fruit has certain nutrients and things, and it gives the body that, and we store that as well. And that's why you should only eat fruit in season. Like if you're going to have cherries in the United States anyway, you want to have them, May, June, July. That's when the cherries are ripe. And we have the habit of eating things year round because we ship them from other parts of the world. Whereas you should only eat things that are ripe where you live. And should be grown where you live, in the soil where you live. And it's much healthier. I had in my old house before I moved to Cottonwood, the neighbor had an orange tree, and 1 or 2 oranges would ripen across the fence. So I would eat 1 or 2 oranges, but otherwise I don't eat oranges because there's too much sugar in an orange. I'll eat grapefruit or something like that. Lemons, because Arizona is just, we love citrus here. It grows crazy in Arizona. So we have lots of lemons, which is nice. I don't know what you do if you live somewhere where you can't grow any citrus because it's the best source of vitamin C there is.
Exactly. Well, that's why a lot of people on boats, they used to get scared because they weren't getting vitamin C until they added things in. So basically, when it comes to binging, we have to understand it's our human nature as well. So we're fighting our human nature in that sense. So understanding your thought processes and your traumas and healing from those, and then coming up with pattern interrupts to actually overcome in the moment, which is what our book has a lot of information in there for that. And I have an online course and a program working with me to actually process through that process. But it is very much one understanding, but then you do have to do the work. You do have to choose not to eat the foods and stop yourself mid-moment. Like I stopped myself mid-binge one time by writing a letter to food. What are you doing to me? And that's actually in the book. So it actually, because when you're actually writing, again, it makes you stop and think. So, and there's lots of exercise that, I do stuff. We've brought in all our skills, in the book. So you're not just dealing with coaches, you're dealing with kinesiologists, NLP, hypnosis. And if you do the course, we have some hypnosis that goes with it as well too. So it is very much, you have to do the work, but you're not alone. You've got support. And that's with anything. We all have to at some point put on our big girl's pants and decide we're going to do it. But once you've actually healed from things, your choices are easier to make because you're not fighting with the brain that's saying, I'm not safe, because of the traumas, the fears, and all those sort of things.
Yeah, I put a picture of myself when I was 21 on the front of the fridge when I was in Florence at the time, so you can see Florence behind me. And so that I want that body back. So I have that. That's an interrupt. And whenever I open the refrigerator door, I always ask, are you hungry or are you thirsty?
And
9 times out of 10, you're thirsty. And if I drink water, then I'm fine.
We have several hungers. We have the thirst hunger, and a lot of the times we don't satisfy that first. Then we have the nutrition hunger. We actually need different types of nutrition in our bodies. If we're not meeting that, we will get hungry and we will go for something that we don't want, because our body's going, okay, well, you're giving me something, but you're still not giving me the nutrition. So I'm going to keep on going back and eating something else, and you're going to keep on looking. So there's certain things, you need, and there's community, one of our hungers is, being with people, having, having connections. So we have to meet all these hungers to actually feel satisfied as well. So there's so many layers when it comes to binge eating that a lot of people don't realize. They think, oh yeah, I'm going to go on diets, I want to lose weight, but unfortunately that causes problems. You can lose weight having been a binge eater, but you just need to do it in the right way and not go on diets. It becomes, this is what I'm going to choose to do, and it's my choice to do this and eat this way because it's healthy for my body, as opposed to I want to rock that pair of jeans.
Well, I also tell my patients, you didn't gain weight overnight. You won't lose it overnight and keep it off. These people that say, oh, I lost 50 pounds in 2 weeks or whatever. Yeah, but you're going to gain it all back because
Yeah.
you can't lose it that fast,
Yeah.
because you have to change your set point. Because
Yeah.
the body says, this is my set point. That's why if one day a week you overeat, your body, like I had a big Chinese New Year's celebration with a bunch of acupuncturists yesterday. I ate so much, I finally stopped. They were still bringing food and I just couldn't eat anymore. But I ate so much. And today, guess what? I am not hungry.
Mm.
I've been drinking water. I had a couple of dates. That's it. I'm just not
Yes.
hungry. That's the body normally balancing out your weight.
Mm.
And
we cycle through that process.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just have to listen to the body and go with, if
Mm.
you're not hungry, you don't have to eat. This notion
And
that
we've
you have 3 meals a day. No, you don't.
no, and it's actually good to actually sort of, go on a fast or something for a while to give your stomach a bit of a rest.
Mhm.
But we're also designed to cycle on and off, and
Mhm.
we're designed to eat when we're hungry, but we've gone past listening to our bodies, and
Mhm.
processed food just has so much chemical
Mhm.
and sugar in there that we wouldn't normally be eating, that then our body's going, well, I'm still not getting the nutrients, so I'm going to keep going back for more. I'm going to keep going back for more because you're resisting all the nutrients that your body needs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So true. Now you have a free gift for our audience, right? No More Regrets quiz. Tell us about that.
Yes. So that is a quiz to look at some of your beliefs that and emotions that you may be feeling. So you can go in and do that and maybe just get a few aha moments. On the same page, you can actually do the eating quiz as well too. I've got 2 quizzes there. So since we touched on the binge eating, if you go to that same page, you should have on my website, you should have access to both quizzes.
Cool. So if you're on YouTube, the link is below. But if you're listening to the podcast, the link is Goodness Meal.
Goodness Me Alternative.
Oh, sorry. When it's all grouped together,
Yeah.
I should probably pull them apart. goodnessmealternative.com.au. Is it .com.au?
Yeah, /quizzes. I
Okay,
think.
/quizzes. So there are 2 dots in there. So it's goodnessmealternative.com.au/quizzes. And so there's 2 quizzes there, right?
Yeah, there's a binge eating quiz as well too.
Okay, cool. So nice gift. So do you have any closing words for our audience?
Yeah, basically, you've got this. You just need to understand why you have these issues that are coming up for you, and realize that it is the ghost of the past. It is not anything that is wrong with you. Once you realize that, once you can do some healing and let go of that past, you don't have to lose it. You just have to let go of the pain that comes with that past and remember the good sides of it, and just move past and get on with your life and actually enjoy the life that you deserve to have. You deserve to live a life of joy. You deserve to live a life of abundance, believing in yourself and having everything that you want at your fingertips. It's all there.
So true. Very wise words. And know that you're not alone, and there's people who are out there ready to help you.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for being our guest today, Karyn.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Beverly. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome. And everyone, remember to be the light you want to see in the world.